hablar del pasado y lo que nos gustaba y lo que no nos gustaba, lo que hacíamos cuando éramos jóvenes y lo que queríamos ser cuando éramos jóvenes. Pero antes vamos a hablar de la geocultura de Segovia un poco más y vamos a hablar de otras dos cosas para que ustedes tengan otra idea o mejor idea sobre la cultura de Segovia. ¿Qué edificio en Segovia se llama La Dama? Tomás, ¿qué edificio en Segovia se llama La Dama? Sí, muy bien. El edificio que se llama La Dama es la Catedral de Segovia. ¿Cómo se llaman los ríos donde está construido el Alcázar? Emilia, ¿cómo se llaman los ríos donde está construido el Alcázar? Sí, los ríos se llaman Eresma y Clamores. Eresma y Clamores es donde vienen, hay una confluencia de los dos ríos. Número 3. ¿Para qué fue construida la Torre de Hércules? ¿Para qué fue construida la Torre de Hércules? ¿McKenna?
Fue construida por un noble.
Pues sí, fue construida por protección de un noble. Sí, por protección. ¿Y de qué época es el acueducto? Lola, ¿de qué época es el acueducto? ¿De qué época es el acueducto? Ok, época es un periodo de tiempo. ¿De qué periodo de tiempo es el acueducto? De hace 2 milenios o de la época del Imperio Romano. ¿Sí? De la época del Imperio Romano que existía hace 2 milenios o hace 2000 años. Número 5. ¿Cuál es la altitud de Segovia? Ana, ¿cuál es la altitud de Segovia?
El altitud de Segovia es
1002 metros. ¿Saben ustedes, en comparación con Kalamazoo o con Papua, es una altitud más alto o menos alto? Más alto, más alto. La altitud de Kalamazoo es 784 pies, no metros, ¿sí? Y Papua 686 pies, o sea 700 pies sobre el nivel del mar. Y esos son 1000 metros. Hay más de 3 pies en 1 metro, ¿sí? Por eso es mucho más alto que el terreno de donde vivimos nosotros. Ok, muy bien. A fines de la clase del viernes hablábamos de uno de los edificios y estructuras en Segovia. Y nuestra amiga nos dijo que Segovia está construida en una roca. Pues sí, el Alcázar específicamente está en la roca más alta. Y la ciudad de Segovia también en una altitud elevada puede ser una roca también. Pero a fines de la clase hablábamos de la organización UNESCO y les pedí que encontraran información sobre UNESCO para decirme hoy qué quiere decir qué significa estas letras, ¿sí? UNESCO es una organización bien importante por todo el mundo y tiene que ver con algunos de los edificios y con las estructuras que se encuentran en Segovia. ¿Quién sabe qué significan estas letras? ¿Hay alguien que sepa? ¿Qué es UNESCO? Nadie sabe. Nadie buscó información. Sí. United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. The United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. Y esta organización tiene la meta de preservar la cultura de todo el mundo. Quiere preservar la cultura del mundo. ¿Sí? Y en español llaman a unos sitios patrimonio de la humanidad. Patrimonio de la humanidad. En inglés se llama World Heritage Sites. Y declara a unos sitios como patrimonio de la humanidad o World Heritage Sites. Ahora, en este momento, hay 1,007 sitios. Hay 1,007 sitios por todo el mundo. 1,007 World Heritage Sites in the world. ¿Sí? 1,007 sitios. Y estos sitios pueden ser, they can be forests, mountains, lakes, islands, deserts, not deserts, deserts, monuments, buildings, complexes, cities of special cultural or physical significance. So, a World Heritage Site can be any of these things: forests, mountains, lakes, islands, deserts, monuments, buildings, complexes, cities of special cultural or physical significance. And this UNESCO seeks out these sites and awards to them World Heritage Site status. As I said, there are 1,007 of them in the world. Where do you think the greatest number of them are? They are in Europe, you're right. What country? Huh? Not in Spain. Spain's up there. Not Germany. Italy. Italy has the greatest number of them with 50 sites. China has 47. Spain is third with 44. Okay, now one of the reasons that Spain has so many, and Italy have so many, is because of their long history and their long domination by multiple political groups. And so there are vestiges of unique history in these places. And we're going to talk about that long history and who was in power in just a couple of minutes. But what I want you to understand is that And the United States has some too, by the way. My list here doesn't tell how many the United States has. The United States has some as well. Mount Rushmore would be one. Taos, New Mexico is another one. There's several in the United States as well. But these are places in the world that this organization says everybody should know about these things. These are evidence of important cultural and physical significance in our world. And these belong to everybody. And so they tend to separate them out, and they label them this so that they can be protected. I was looking at some other statistics when I was doing my research on them last week. I don't know where my little notepad is that I was writing that on. But there are some that are physical, some that are cultural, some that are natural, some that are man-made, some that are a combination of natural and man-made sites. It's worth it to begin to explore what these are. These are the big ones in the world that say everybody should know something about these 1,007 places in the world. You can get there just by Googling UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and it'll show you where they are. There's some great maps there. There's some great lists there to let you know what things that you should see. Now, Segovia, what do you think in Segovia is a particular World Heritage protection? The Alcázar, the aqueduct, the cathedral, okay, the La Dama. All of those are protected. The city center of Segovia is also protected. Okay, so it includes a lot of buildings in the city center as well. Segovia is a place that has multiple listings here because of its rich heritage. So let's take a minute. When I looked at your big themes sheets, you had some ideas there, but one of the things is that you're just putting titles down. You're not putting any information down that lets me know that you understand why that's important. You just wrote some words down. And so I want to make sure that you understand why this city is so rich in its heritage. So turn around and take a look at the back board. There's a timeline back there that I put up there that I want you to pay attention to as we talk about why Segovia is so rich in history. Now, you can get out there and do some research like I did. I did a lot of reading just to be able to explain some pretty short ideas to you. But, of course, this should go this way as well. We should have an arrow that points backward here, too. But the first section of this timeline is labeled 1st through 4th centuries. Now, you think, oh, hey, you don't need to read that to us, but I'm recording for my ladies in this afternoon, so I want them to be able to understand what I'm talking about. The first part of this timeline is labeled 1st through 4th centuries. If this is the city of Segovia, who's in power in Segovia in the 1st through the 4th centuries? The Romans. How do we know that? What evidence do we have that the Romans are in charge there? Biggest piece of evidence that we have the Romans there. The aqueduct. Okay, there's a lot of Roman construction in the area. Our history books tell us the Celts were before the Romans, I believe. Okay, so we've got the Romans, and our biggest piece of evidence is the aqueduct. And then who's there from the 5th through the 8th centuries? This is where I thought you might know the word, but you might not know who they are. This is the Visigoths. Now, do you know who the Visigoths were? Okay, they are a division of the Goths. The Goths were a Germanic tribe, or a system of Germanic tribes. The Visigoths is one branch. Okay, so the Visigoths are in power and stay in the 5th through the 8th centuries. This is where we get that term Gothic architecture as well. Okay? Gothic architecture. Here's where we get Romanesque architecture. It relates not only to style and the things, the details that you see in the buildings, but also refers to the time period. Now, can you get Romanesque architecture in the 8th century? Yes, you can. Because people say, hey, I like the way they used to build buildings. I want to build something in the Romanesque style here. Okay? Do we get Gothic architecture in modern day buildings? Yes, we do. People say, oh, I love that Gothic architecture. I'm going to go back and copy that. So we do have elements of these styles of architecture at later time periods because of a value for the way that architecture looks. Okay? Now, I always can remember these dates without going back to the history book, 711 to 1492. Who's in power in Spain from 711 to 1492? Not the Byzantines. The Moors. Okay? Who are the Moors? Exactly. The Arabic and North African Muslims. Okay? Arabic and North African Muslims were the Moors. They're in power in Spain from 711 to 1492. That's an awfully long time as well. Okay? Now, during this time period, Segovia is a hotbed of activity. Okay? And you will see Moorish and Mudéjar architecture in Segovia during this time period. We didn't see much of evidence about that in our text, but you will see Moorish and Mudéjar architecture. The Alcázar is an example of Moorish architecture. It doesn't tell us a whole lot about that, but it is Moorish architecture. And even the name of it, Alcázar, comes from the Moorish language. Now, Mudéjar architecture is that combination of Moorish architecture with the the Jews who were left in Spain at this point. It's during this time period that you see the beginning of the Spanish Inquisition. It's established during this time period where they start kicking people out, infidels out. We're going to kick out the Moors, we're going to kick out the Jews, we're going to leave only the Christians here. Okay? So it's the time of the Reconquest, and it's the time of the Inquisition. In 1492, the Reconquest is complete. So what does that mean? The Reconquest is complete in 1492. Okay, now it becomes Spain. Okay, from here on out, we have Christian Spain. This is why, one of the things I kept hearing you talk about, and I loved hearing you talk about this, is that Ferdinand and Isabel are known as the Catholic kings, the Catholic monarchs. It's important, it's significant, because who's in power in Spain right here? Ferdinand and Isabel. Because it's Ferdinand and Isabel who commissioned Columbus to go to the world. Okay? They are living in the Alcázar in Segovia when that happens. And it's at that point, they're at the pinnacle of their success. They have reconquered Spain. They've driven the Moors out. The last Moors are expelled from Spain in 1492. They have made a systematic recovery of this land. And because Isabel is from Castile and Ferdinand is from Aragon, they marry, they join their kingdoms, and with the goal of reconquering all of Spain in the name of Christ. So, it's at this point, and this is why they call Ferdinand and Isabel the Catholic kings, because they are the first monarchs in a new country. Up until this point, this is not Spain. Now it becomes Spain. Portugal is established somewhere here as a different part of the peninsula, but this is where it becomes Christian Spain. And we see it flourish, and we see it flourish during Renaissance times. What is the word Renaissance is a French term. What does it mean? rebirth, renewal, rebirth, essentially, renaissance, renacer, to be reborn in Spanish. Okay? El renacimiento, the rebirth. And this is where you see Renaissance architecture. Okay? The rebirth of Christianity in the world and in Europe. Okay? So, I want you to understand why Segovia is so rich in history and why it's a World Heritage Site. We've got evidence in Segovia of all of this history in its architecture that's there. Okay? Now, when I look at your big theme sheet, I see lists, but I don't know if you know this, but it meant so much. That it meant so much that you have all of these different styles of architecture. But on that homework sheet, you know, what's really a quiz, but I don't use it as a quiz, but you have 5 structures from 5 different time periods. Well, there's more than 5 there. And you have Roman architecture, you have the aqueduct. In the aqueduct, and some of you mentioned a military base. I had forgotten about that, and I know I've kind of that wrong on your sheet, because I thought, okay, if you mention both the aqueduct and that army, or the military base, you shouldn't get too close, so there's supposed to be 5 from 5 different time periods. But what you need to understand, what the most significance is, that in Spain, we see more than just Spanish history. We see human history that transcends the nation of Spain. Now, we've mentioned the trip a couple times. We're going to be starting the big push to get people to sign up here pretty soon. Our trip to Spain in the spring. We're going to start out in Madrid, spend 4 nights in Madrid, and we're going to take a day trip out to Segovia. We'll also be taking a day trip out to Toledo. We hope to also visit El Escorial. El Escorial is another World Heritage Site. And we want you to get an in-depth understanding of what a World Heritage Site is and why it is a World Heritage Site. We'll also be traveling to the south. We're going to take a look at the map back there, to Andalusia. And we will make a day trip out to Cordova. And then we'll be staying in Seville, I believe. We'll also take a day trip to Granada. Granada is where, if you've heard of Washington Irving's Tales of the Alhambra is in Granada. And it's beautiful Moorish architecture. We hope to be visiting the Patio de los Leones, which is at the Alhambra there as well. So we'll be spending several nights also in Andalusia. So Madrid, Segovia, Toledo, then south to see Cordova. I believe we're staying in Sevilla. I can't remember. I think it is. And also taking a day trip out to Granada. We'll be giving you information about that. We're going to be giving the big push soon. But hopefully we'll be talking more and more about Andalusia in the next 3 years, so that you are more familiar with the places that we want you to visit there as well. Yes, ma'am? No, it's not just Spanish words. Anybody who wants to go is what we're going to allow to go. Because we're not going to go every year. It's too big an endeavor to go every year. It costs too much money to go every year. You know, we want people to have time to save money and work toward that goal. That's why last year we mentioned it, so that people could start saving their money to make a commitment to go next year. It's going to be about, my guess is about $4,000. I haven't seen the price yet. $4,000 for a 10-day tour is a pretty decent price when you consider you're flying to and from Spain. Airfare is astronomical right now. So $4,000 is a pretty good price. All right, so, hay preguntas, other questions about why Segovia is important to us, why we should be looking at Segovia? Okay, saquen la lista de vocabulario y ahora vamos a hablar del nuevo vocabulario.